I don't know about you guys, but 2021 was a very interesting year, and I had kind of hoped that given everything that 2020 was, that 2021 would just be like orders of magnitude better. And unfortunately, I can't really say that that's true. We had some really high highs, but we also had some really low lows. I've had this like ongoing list of things that I wanted to do, things I wanted to implement, hashtag adulting, things that I've just wanted to do all of 2021 and have not really had a chance to get any of them really off the ground. So given the fact that there really is kind of this newness and freshness that comes with a new year, that I would make this list and share it with you guys because maybe you want to join me. So these are the 10 things that I am doing as a sort of get your life together kind of thing. So let's go over 10 ways to get your life together in 2022. You can join me in doing these things. Number 1, we are cleaning up. I'm just going to say we, the proverbial we, we're doing this together, but it's mostly me and you if you choose to. We're going to be cleaning up our online life, if you will. So that includes things like going through your social media and unfollowing accounts that maybe you started following for a giveaway or someone tagged you in, or you started following but then realized, yeah, I'm not really into that. We know that we all kind of follow accounts from time to time that we later then are like, who is this person? Why am I following this? I don't know. Go through and clean that up. Unfollow. I'm a big advocate of this. I tell people this all the time. Even if it's me, okay? Even if it's me. If there is someone you're following online that you feel like sucks the joy out of your life, I mean, look, at the end of the day, you get to control that. And I remind myself, okay, so there's hashtag preaching to myself here. You get to control that. You get to control your online experience. So if there are people that are bringing you down, unfollow them, okay? So I like to go through and unfollow, clean out social media accounts. I also like to clean up my phone apps. I like to go through, see what I've got, what have I added onto my phone that I no longer need, remove those, organize things. I don't know if I'll be able to show you this because of the screen, but I really like to, hopefully you can kind of see that, but I really like to organize my phone home screen into folders and have those, folders just sort of, I don't know, separate everything and put it into, sensical order of, things that are for shopping, things that are for entertainment, social things, business apps that I am using, sort of, reading, watching, viewing type apps, financial apps, food things, travel things, kid things, health things. I really like to separate things. Oh, I just slipped in this little furry thing I have on my chair. I was like, ugh. I just really like for my phone to have some bit of organization and order and sense to it. I am not overly sort of type A about that kind of stuff. So long as I can relatively quickly find it and I'm not just flipping through pages and pages, I'm fine. And the last thing in my little online bucket is to back up all of my photos, both from my phone and my computers. I have bought a completely brand new, empty, nothing on it, external hard drive that I am going to be moving all photos, videos, all of that stuff over to, so that I have one place, because right now I have about 10 external hard drives floating around. It's absolutely ridiculous, and I just need to move everything onto some larger backup source where it can all live together in one place and not scattered all over different hard drives. Then I'm looking for something and I'm pulling out all kinds of hard drives. It's a mess. I also, and this is great because you can do this if you're sitting there nursing a baby, if you're watching, Frozen for the 4,000th time with your kids. This is something you can do even when you're momming it, is to organize the photos, organize the albums on my phone. I want to be better about this. I tend to do everything from the main camera roll, and if you take a lot of pictures, that's a nightmare, disaster, not fun, not easy, giant mistake. So I just want to organize things into albums on my phone. Once I set the structure for organization, it's a lot easier for me to plug and play. Number 2 is finances. I do think there's some good framework things that we should all be doing, you might already be doing, and various things. So let's jump into finances. So I probably have made little to no attempt to hide the fact that I am not a financial guru. So when I'm looking at different like apps and financial resources, I'm just always looking for something that is very user-friendly, easy for me to understand, easy for me to implement. And that brings me to today's video sponsor is TrueBill. You know already that I take very seriously the things, especially sponsorships, the companies that I work with, the things I recommend to you guys. I really take very seriously that this product is beneficial and useful to you guys. And one of the things that TrueBill's platform as a whole sort of works towards is creating a product that gives you a meaningful, helpful, sort of overall health of your finances. And really the word meaningful matters here because you don't need a bunch of noise confusing you. And I love that this is really focusing on things that will make a difference in your overall financial health from day one. I'm really just providing a holistic view of your personal finances. I honestly love all of the features, all of the services that TrueBill offers, but the helping you cancel unwanted subscriptions is invaluable. They will go through and help identify any recurring charges that you're getting, and then they take care of canceling those unwanted subscriptions for you. You just one little tap of the finger, they identify it, you tap and say, yep, I want to cancel that, and they take care of it. They will also help you lower your monthly bills, okay? They will literally negotiate for you, whether it's like internet service bills or credit cards. It's very simple. You upload a picture of your bill, you tap a little button to tell TrueBill that you want them to negotiate, and TrueBill will do it for you. They will negotiate to help you lower your bills. And then of course they do things like helping you set up a budget, monitoring your expenses, and frankly did not realize how much of a help this was going to be until I started using it. They will break down and say, here's how much you spent this week. Here's the categories in which the money was spent. You guys know one area that we're constantly working on is our food budget. It's so incredibly helpful to have all of that math already done for you. I don't have to sit there and highlight through, my bank statements and stuff to try to figure out what categories things are going in. It's really, truly incredibly helpful, especially if you're needing to get a grip on your spending in certain areas or whatever. That part to me has been one of my favorite parts. I can't even pick a favorite part, to be honest, because all of the things that TrueBill does have been so helpful. It's such practical help, and it saves you so much time to not have to do all this yourself, to have it done in one place, and just to have them help you, again, with this sort of overall health of your finances, getting rid of unwanted subscriptions, lowering your bills, helping you with your budget. And they also do some credit score monitoring as well, so you can keep an eye on that. And they also do like automatic withdrawals for savings. You can set up a separate savings account and have that money auto sent. I think anybody who does a really good job with savings will tell you that that is the best way to do it, is to have it auto drafted and then moved over there without you having to think about it or deal with it or have the opportunity to spend that money before you've sent the money to savings. So if you guys want to try TrueBill, you can try it totally free. I will have a link down below in the description box, but you will just go to www.truebill.com/Angela and you can try the TrueBill platform for free. Again, I cannot recommend it enough. Financial health and certain financial goals are a big part of our goals for 2022. So on top of what I've previously mentioned about, getting a hold of the budget, getting a good grip on the budget, canceling unwanted subscriptions, doing all that stuff, we also really want to focus in on some investments and getting some basic knowledge there. I've been watching various YouTube channels, and Lydia Sin is one of my favorite people here on YouTube, just in general. She's hilarious and I love her. But I love how she breaks down financial things so simply, so easy to understand, and in a very non-judgmental way. And every bit of advice of hers that I have ever followed has been fantastic. I've had a good outcome from it. So I want to dive a little bit more into that world of, just various investments. And then number 3, which could technically go with number 2, but I do feel like it's sort of its own thing, is insurance and wills. So again, this is a #adulting thing, to look into all of your insurance plans, life insurance, all of that kind of stuff. Make sure that everything is good, still where you need it to be, to reevaluate those things. And then also wills, whether it's a living will, or, you know, if you're worried to have a trust, or various, I mean, these are going to be different for everybody, but given our number of children, and, you know, we have a daughter with Down syndrome, so we have to kind of plan future finances very far in advance. And so for us, that's just important that we stay on top of these things, evaluate them every year, see if anything needs changing or upping or lowering or whatever the case may be, and make sure we're just very clear on what all of our options are in terms of different insurance and different options for will, and what's going to happen with our kids and animals and house and just all that kind of stuff. It's sometimes scary to think about, and it's also easy to sweep it under the rug, but I think that does no one any good. So addressing those things as well is on my list of, you know, just yearly evaluations, if you will. And if it's not something you've done, I'd encourage you to look into it. There's also websites online, by the way. You don't have to like go into somebody's office and do this. There's ways online that you can do this very simply. All right, number 4, hopefully that's the number we're on and I have not completely lost track, is decluttering my home. So in 2020, the very beginning of 2020, before the wheels came off of the entire country, well, the entire world, before everything fell apart, in 2020, the very beginning, I did this big decluttering series through my entire house. I mean, I did everything, every single room. There was no area that went untouched. And of course, that ended up proving to be very worth it, because we ended up listing our house for sale that year. And it saved me a lot of headaches when it came to prepping our house to sell, was that I had already done just a lot of the work of getting rid of junk. Now, with that said, we have since moved, and I'm still trying to figure out organization in this house. It is technically, I actually think it's technically more square footage than our last house, but it does not feel that way at all. The rooms and the layout are very, very different than our previous home, and it definitely has a much more closed in, smaller, cluttered feel. Our ceilings are very low in most of the house, other than the kitchen and dining room, but the rest of the house, the ceilings are very low. We've been trying to kind of live in the space and see how it was going to work. So I've really waited to do a lot of intense decluttering and organization. However, I've just decided that I can wait no longer. If we are eventually able to build an addition and do some other things, then we will just go from there. I'm no longer going to be able to just sit on my hands and wait for figuring that kind of stuff out. I have got to go through and declutter and organize this house. That is one of my big projects for January, of course, and February, and probably March. I am going to do it as a series here again. I have some things down below in the description box for you if you want to check those out. Some different links and printables and things to decluttering plans. There's lots of different ways that people do this. Some people do it, you can do like a 30-day decluttering challenge where every day you do a different area of your home. That doesn't work for me because I don't have time to work on the project every single day for 30 days. But maybe you do, and so you can do a 30-day challenge. You can do room by room. That's kind of how I did it previously, was I just attacked an entire room at one time, and usually I would do it on the weekends. So some of the areas that I'm going to be working on is kitchen, clothing, garage. We have a lot of organization and decluttering to do in the garage, which also couples with our storage unit. So we also need to clean out our storage unit, and we've got to get the garage organized so we can clean out the storage unit and determine from there what's going to come to the house and what's going to be donated or thrown away or recycled or whatever the case may be. And then bathrooms, we actually have more bathrooms than bedrooms in this house. So bathroom declutter is definitely a thing, as well as the linen closet. So we have this kind of like very large oversized cabinet in one of said bathrooms, and that's been acting as our linen closet. And it's weird. The shelves are really close together and they're really deep. There's like winter coats and stuff, and it's no bueno. It's really no good. It's no good. So I need to go through and organize that linen closet. That's going to be a project. All of these projects, by the way, I'm really excited that I'm going to be using my various label makers and my Cricut machines to be making some cute labels and organization things. That's just, I get excited by that. Pathetic? Maybe. Do I care? No. the next thing in getting your life together that I have on my list here is make a list of what you can cut out of your life. I think a lot of times people focus on like, okay, I'm going to add in a workout routine, and I'm going to add in, reading my Bible every morning consistently. People add in things at the new year. And I'm going to make a case. I'm not going to make a case. I'm just going to tell you that I would highly recommend making a list of things you can cut out of your life. This can be anything too, right? This doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm going to cut out ballet for my kids because I don't feel like driving them there anymore. That's not necessarily what I mean. There's a lot of directions you can go with it. Think outside the box here in terms of listing the things that you can cut out in your life. The next is, of course, meal planning. We meal plan. I just am not as consistent with it as I want to be. Again, like everybody, when we fall back on sort of the same things over and over and over again, working on meal planning consistency is definitely on my list this year. I do have some meal planning and grocery lists and stuff printables. I will leave those linked down below as well if you're interested. Number 7 is the emergency stock. That's just a continuation of what we've been doing. I have another video about that, and I am going to continue through sharing, that series with you guys as we do things. But continuing our emergency stockpile, which again, this is going to look different for everybody depending on where you live, what your situation is. I think I'm on number 8, is rhythms and routines. I've spoken about this before as well. Really, this is the time where I'm just going to evaluate what our rhythms and routines are and change them up if need be. I don't want to say perfect them, because is anything ever perfect? No. But rhythms and routines can be evaluated and then tweaked if things have changed, if schedules have changed. I'm a big proponent of these because I'm not a strict schedule person. I'm not a type A. I like things to be a little bit more loose. So that's why I like the idea of a rhythm, just something that is a sort of a predictable way that our day goes, and sort of an expected if this, then this type of scenario. If this happens or this happens first, then this happens. That's the trigger, not necessarily it's 8 a.m. and so you must be doing this at this time. I like it to be more of a sensical, logical trek through the day. Number 9, and this is specific for you moms out there, because I know that we tend to just put ourselves on the back burner here when it comes to setting up health appointments. So that's why this is on the list for me, because I'm terrible at this. Sort of looking forward at making sure that you have scheduled dental cleanings for yourself. Again, we tend to schedule these things for our spouses, for our kids, and then often we forget about ourselves in these appointments. So dental cleanings, gyno appointments, whatever health things, that you need to be following up on. Maybe there's something kind of sitting out there in the wings that you've been thinking, oh, that's, I don't know, a mole that looks weird, that you're like, I need to have that looked at by a dermatologist. This is the time. Sit down, call and make all those appointments, especially if it's a specialist. You may not get in to see them until April or May. So go ahead now and sit down and make all the appointments that you need to make for yourself, health-wise. You can do appointments for your kids and stuff too, right? But I'm pretty sure you've probably already done those. Mom's health appointments, we tend to put ourselves last in that regard, and it's obviously very important that we be healthy in order to be around to take care of our kids. So health appointments, don't let those slip. And then lastly, number 10 is to make lists or do brain dumps. This really depends on how your brain works. I love lists and I love brain dumps. I have an entire notebook here because this is just something that I love to do. And at this time of year, for whatever reason, my brain goes on turbocharge and is like, yes, in 2022, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And I want to plan this and we're going to do this vacation and this project and this thing and this for work. And I'm going to do this and do that. And I get so many ideas. It honestly makes my own head spin sometimes. And for me, brain dump is where I literally take a piece of paper and I just get everything that is floating around here out on paper. I write it all down, even if it's not in a sensical order or whatever. I just start writing things down. Then I could take that and help to turn it into lists. So, and you might be thinking, what kind of lists am I talking about? So I wrote down some ideas for you guys for like what I'm talking about when I say make sort of these master lists that you keep in your planner or in your notebook that you can reference later. So that would be things like meal ideas. If you have, seen someone make something, you saw them post about it on Instagram or YouTube, and you've kind of got that floating around in your head, add it to make lists of like meals you want to try, recipes you want to try. I also like to write lists of movies or books. So movies I want to watch when I say movies, I really mean like documentaries. If I'm listening to a podcast and I hear someone reference a documentary that they loved or a book that they loved, I like to keep a running list of those so that I can go back and find it later, because I'm obviously not going to always immediately hop on and buy it on Amazon or, get it on Audible or something. So a running list of referencing books or movies that I want to read this year, or that I want to watch this year, that sort of thing. I also make lists of like projects and things that I want to work on, small projects and big projects. I often have a list of like 100 of those things running through my mind, especially living here and all the things we have going on. So I just like to have running lists of all of these things so that I don't easily forget them and I can let them out of here for a while. Okay, wow, holy cow. If you made it to the end of this video, kudos to you. Like I said, be sure to check the description box. I'll link everything that I've shared and talked about. TrueBill, try that for free. It'll be linked down below. And then different channels I've talked about that I enjoy, that I learn from, websites, and I'll also have links to some of the printables that I have on my website. So be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know if you guys are going to join me for the Get Your Life Together series. I hope that you will. That is it for me today, and I will see you guys again very soon.